कितना डेलीगेट होगा अपना अभी?
We will share the link on the chat. Meeting YouTube में live होगी भैया.
YouTube में लिखे.
Meeting आपकी YouTube में live है अभी. हाँ. आपकी recording भी हो रही है. So we'll share the recording also and अपनी YouTube में live भी है.
कितना अभी आएगा अपना delegates?
Around 40 delegates. 40 delegates आएगा. Sarvesh paste the YouTube. Yes, it's already there. So our chat box ma there is a YouTube link and we have this entire program live on YouTube. Subhash bhaiya, welcome.
हाँ, thank you.
We have a past chairman Subhash.
आजा आजा भैया, सुभाष आजा. सुभाष दी ग्रेट.
बोलो भाई जी, राम राम.
अरे बंगाल को तो सुभाष ही है, अभी कोई इंडिया नहीं है. और बात यह भी है ना कि हमारे तो दिल्ली गवर्नमेंट भी सुभाष नहीं ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंस दे रही है. कलकत्ता एयरपोर्ट को नाम तो श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी कर ही दियो.
विकास भैया का कुछ एक बैंडविड्थ इश्यू आ रहा था भैया और वो अभी 2 मिनट में ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं. जैसे वो ज्वाइन करते अपने स्टार्ट कर देंगे.
I'm trying on the laptop. Actually, there is some problem. I'm just trying to connect. Give me 1 minute's time.
Take your time.
To connect.
I think विकास भैया is ready. विकास से एक सुना दीजिए. आपको एक जगह बंद करना पड़ेगा. You have to do only one.
Yeah. Now is it okay?
अभी ठीक है. Now perfect. Now we are requesting Vyas ji to start the program with the welcome address.
Yeah. Good evening to all. Before we start our formal
and I request
program,
Sarvesh to have the official start of the program. Yes.
We will have the East Bandana. Ya kundendu tasarahara dabalaya supravasrabrita. Ya vina varadanda manditakaraya shrita patmasana. Ya brahma chita sankara pravita viradevai sada vandita. Samam patu saraswati bhagavati nissesa jadyapaha. Friends, today we have assembled on this virtual 2-hour CP program, structured one, duly approved by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, being organized by the BBD Bar Chartered Accountant Study Circle, on the very important topic, MSME sector, which is playing a very dominant role in the economic well-being of the country. And because of the COVID pandemic, the government provided various stimulus proposals in regard to the medium, small, and micro sectors of our industries in various segments, which has been now duly redefined, and their turnover and capital outlay has been redefined by the various notification issued by the government in the last few days. And we have today a very celebrated resource person, our past chairman of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India Eastern Region, CA Vikas Jain. I welcome him all in this 2-hour CP programs. We will be going into detail about the nitty-gritties because the employment generation is a very crucial aspect of the economic well-being of the country, and the MSME segment is playing a very dominant role in the total wealth creations, employment generations, and the other allied economic issues for which I will request our speaker to deal on these issues. Certain queries has also been forwarded to him, which the MSME segments are now facing in spite of the various pronouncements made by the government but not duly implemented at the grassroots levels in the banking sectors. And with these words, I now request our convener, Sanjeev Sanghi, to introduce our speaker. Sanghi ji.
So thank you so much, Vyasji. Yes. Thank you so much, Vyasji, for a wonderful welcome address. We welcome all of you. The topic is very relevant today, and it is on decoding of MSME provisions, and we have the best speaker with us who has got a huge experience, and I'm on fundraising, on debt and equity, on resolution of debt conflict, mergers and acquisitions. And we all know Vikas Bhaiya. He is the past chairman EIRC of ICAI. He's operating from Calcutta and Mumbai. I do remember, when we were having the renovation of EIRC, he was the first chairman to took the initiative of, completely renovating the entire R. Singhi Hall. So we all know him very well. And without wasting much more time, I request him. But before that, let me tell you that we have crossed 50 delegates, and the entire program is live on YouTube. And we are also going to share the recording of this entire session to all the participants. So thank you so much, Vikasji, for accepting our invitation. We request you to take over the session. Vikasji, it's all yours.
Yeah.
And I request the Sarvesh to please put up the slide.
Sure. So before sharing the screen, I would just like to thank Vyasji, Sanjeev, and Gopal, and all members of the BBD Bag CS Study Circle for having invited me on discussion on the topic of MSME provisions, as has been pronounced by our Honorable Finance Minister. So the slew and flurry of packages that started off on 13th of May, and it was in 5 different tranches that the Finance Minister had come up with unveiling set of stimuli and packages trying to address various sectors across the board. Now, among which the MSME segment is predominantly playing a very, very important role. And right in the beginning, Vyasji has made a mention that there has been certain changes in terms of definition, in terms of inclusive criteria by way of turnover or investment in plant and machinery. So as and when the things progress, as and when things go by, I'll try and touch upon all these aspects, and in the given time frame, how I would propose is like I'll basically give a flavor and taste of the decoding of the provisions actually. And this has been after a long time that I'm meeting so many friends, of course, on a virtual platform. So it's indeed a pleasure to come back to our own study circle and among the members actually. So I'm very grateful to the organizers, Vyasji and Gopal and Sanjeev. They have been in touch with me regularly. So friends, now I guess warm up ho gaya. So now I think it is time that we start off our discussions in right earnest. Now, what exactly has been going on over the past couple of months? We are all aware of this, but more pertinently and more importantly, there has been a health as well as a financial pandemic. Now, in terms of health, we are all aware what is going on. There's nothing forthcoming as of now. There's still a long way to go. Now, even before touching on the subject, I'm trying to draw home as to what are the factors, what are the issues that have really crippled our financial health. Of course, financial and economic health. Sorry. Now, since there is no robust vaccine or any medicine or antibodies that has predominantly come into foray. So the point is,
sorry for interruption. Can you increase the volume a bit?
Just a moment.
Or maybe a bit closer to the microphone.
Okay, I'll just try.
Sorry for
yeah,
that.
Now is it better? I've increased the volume.
Much better. Please.
Much better. All right. Sorry, I thought the volume was fine enough. I increased the volume. Yeah. So apart from, the financial and economic health, we are all worried about, what exactly is going to happen on the health front. As I was mentioning, there is no, forthcoming of any vaccine or antidote or a medicine, so to say. Now, in toto, dear friends, we are now in a phase that we have to live in the COVID-19 situation. The coronavirus is there to stay for, a couple of months more. And God willing, we are all praying hard that, we see light at the end of the day. There should be an end to this pandemic so that, we start our lives once again. Now, having said so, having put this on record, what I strongly feel, there would be a new normal altogether. The manner in which we have been working, the manner in which we are carrying out our profession, the manner in which our clients are doing the business, the manner in which the regulators are, managing the whole state of affairs in our country. So I'm sure there would be a new normal altogether. We have to live with it and we have to stay with it for some more months. The GDP has been shocking, no doubt about it. There have been numerous reports on that. We're not going to dwell into it. But then, just giving you a fillip of what exactly is happening. Unemployment is on the rise, no doubt. Production has taken a big hit. And even before the pandemic started, we had, some sort of crisis in the banking sector, in aviation sector. And, there was a lot of upheaval in the economy in general. Post this corona episode, ever since, we have started to recognize this ever since February of 2020, when, the first case was detected in the last week of January. So we started to recognize that there is something which is on the anvil. Now, this is giving a big sort of a backstab thing on the entire front, actually. Now, having spoken that, the government has come up with announcing stimuli and packages from time to time. What exactly will be the outcome? It is very difficult at this stage because, announcements have been made just, a couple of weeks back, or let's say a week or 10 days back. Still, lot many things are to be unfolded as of now. We are still not very clear where exactly, the policies will be pronounced. Along with the policy, how the lenders, they are going to react, so on and so forth. There are still, we are in the lurch, actually. We are in the dark. To start off, the very first thing that has started on the 1st of June 2020, there has been a pronouncement of the champion. What do I mean by champion? So if we actually visit this site, champion.gov.in, this is nothing but I'm just reading out, the connotation, what it means. Creation and harmonious application of modern process for increasing the output, the national strength. Now, this is what champion stands at. This has been pronounced as late as on 1st of June 2020. What it has done, so the Ministry of MSME is now geared up to implement the new norms of classification of MSMEs. Now, the upper ceiling for classification has now been raised. Now here, let me take up one question which Vyasji had sent to me in the afternoon. Sanjeev, if you could read out this question because it's relevant at this point of the discussion. There was this question raised in the afternoon. So I can, straight away reply to that and proceed on. If you have it ready, or else I'll read it out.
So I guess Gopal.
No, just a moment. I have it. I'll read it out. No worries. Yeah. So the question was, the government has increased the turnover limit of the MSME to 250 crores per annum. Due to this, many big units will come in the MSME category and small units will not be able to compete with them. What should be done? So this was the question floated this afternoon itself. Now to this, let me share my thoughts, my views. I'll of course, come to the definition part that is there in the shared screen as well. Now, what has happened? This has been a long-standing demand of the MSME sector. In 2014 years back, in 2006, the MSMED Act of 2006 was pronounced. wherein the definition for micro, small and medium enterprises, this had been done. So it's at the end of 14 years. The first definition was changed as on 13th of May 2020, wherein again it saw a change as on 1st of June 2020 when champions was announced. Now the question is getting a fight or competition from the bigger units. On the contrary, there was a demand from these small sector units or MSME sector to increase the benefits extended to this sector in terms of the soft subsidies, in terms of interest, in terms of stamp duties, in terms of benefits, other benefits that are available to these units. So I strongly feel that this was the need of the hour, because as of now the definition which stood at 100 crores, so you'll find a lot of units in the manufacturing as well as the services sector who are crossing 100 crores, I mean, by throw of a hat. Now, having increased the definition of turnover to 250 crores, in my view, this poses a good move for the MSME units to perform well, keep on taking the advantages which are available to them under the MSMED Act or various other regulations and provisions. So another point is, see, as of now, there is no point in taking a back seat, because the rules that have been enacted on 1st of June, the amendments made on to 13th May 2020, this has been a very rapid announcement. Now we have to live with it. It is indeed, so I have submitted my view, it is indeed beneficial to those units to continue to avail of certain benefits which are available under various regulations and statutes in our country. What has happened as a result of this champion which was pronounced on 1st of June? Now, this has been done to unify and empower so that there is a robust technical platform. Now, friends, if you actually see, Sanjeev been pressing very hard that we should be tech savvy. So I think the government has also taken clue from his deliberations throughout the country, that we professionals along with us, the MSME, they need to be more tech savvy now, because the manner in which we are doing business, we need to be fortified, we need to be strongly bundled into adopting technology so that they are put to the best use. And as a result of this champion has been introduced. So in fact, you see one of the words that it says modern processes. So unless and until you are tech savvy, you'll not be able to get into adopting the modern processes, so to say. Now, this will also help to have tech-driven platforms, okay, for MSME. As a result of this, smaller units will tend to become bigger and getting into the wider ambit, wider fold of the definition per se, continuing to enjoy the benefit, and with a helping and hand-holding attitude of the government. In my view, this is a welcome feature. So I think this is one of the questions that was raised in the afternoon. But since we got into the definition of fresh MSME, I thought fit to take it. Now, if I may request Gopal to start the screen sharing. Yeah.
There's a question on the chat box. Do you want to take that right now? From Chandak ji, which says whether retail trade are covered in definition of MSME.
MSME, yeah, MSME. So whatever trade there are, it is now covering the manufacturing and the services sector. Now there is a whole hog of definitions under the MSMED Act which are covered. So retail SMEs, in terms of trading units, if you're talking about, so in my view, no. Manufacturing and all, everything, those are, these are covered under the retail units. So please start the screen sharing. There are a lot of things in that will be covered.
Sarvesh, can you make it a little bigger? Maybe 60%?
I'm not able to see on the screen, Sanjeev.
Yeah, you can.
Just a moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is good?
Yeah, good. So for the time being, I'm just stopping my video for the simple reason that, I have to enlarge the screen as such. Okay. Right. Now it is on the full screen?
Yes.
Yeah, next slide, please. So we are into this Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, strategic reforms. Now, one controversial question that I'm throwing to the floor right in the beginning. does the FM's announcement make India Atmanirbhar? Now, this is for all of us to ponder and ponder hard whether these reforms, how long it will go. There have been a lot of questions which have been raised on a 20 lakh crore package. So, this is for all of us to examine. Please proceed on. So we are going to discuss over here the businesses, including MSMEs, the decoding of the government incentives. There are certain opportunities that we need to explore, and simplifying regulatory announcements. So maybe there are some aspects which are beyond the purview of MSME itself, but then we as professionals, I thought it fit to include some of them, which will be beneficial for us in exploring opportunities. Yeah, let's proceed. So on the screen, if you see the existing MSME classification, they were into two parts earlier: manufacturing and services enterprises. Now this has been done away with. Now we are manufacturing and services enterprise only. The definition itself is clear: micro, small, and medium. This is where, if I invite your attention to the last portion, the medium enterprises, investment in plant and machinery or equipment less than or equal to 50 crores and turnover less than 250 crores. Next slide, please. So what has been, the talking point about getting these benefits? So for all the points that are mentioned here, in the later slides, you'll find some detailed descriptions. So I'm just, reading out for convenience sake. Easy finance availability as to how I'm coming to that. Concession in interest rates, credit linked guarantee scheme, registered entities, so on and so forth, waiver in earnest money, concession in electricity bills, marketing development assistance, MSME training and development programs. Now, these are, just a fillip and flavor of what MSMEs are getting the benefit in the present regime and what we are deriving out of the stimuli and packages announced by the government. Next slide, please. So before going into that, there have been 5 important pillars of this stimuli. If I have to quote our Honorable Prime Minister, the 5 pillars relate to economy, infrastructure, system, vibrant demography, and demand. Now this special economic and comprehensive package of 20 lakh crore, equivalent to close to about 10% of India's GDP, and this has been designed in such a way so as to cater to various sections, including MSMEs, the middle class, labor, so on and so forth. And some people, some economists, they have opined that these are bold reforms. Now, again, it is for each one of us to comprehend. We have to take it forward as to, how and best these reforms will take us. Only, coming time will tell us. Again, quoting our Prime Minister, it is time now to become vocal for local products and make them global. Now, coming to the new benefits under the scheme, what is lying in front of you. Prior to that, let me also take you through some important provisions in terms of the measures taken by the Reserve Bank of India. I'll just come to it in 1 or 2 minutes. I just want to take you through some important packages that have been announced by the Reserve Bank of India. There has been a reduction in the cash reserve ratio on 2 occasions, resulting in the liquidity enhancement. The targeted long-term repo operations for fresh deployment in investment-grade corporate bonds, commercial paper, and NCDs in excess of 1 lakh crore. This has been introduced. The TLTRO of 50,000 crore for investing in investment-grade bonds, commercial paper, and NCD of NBFCs and MFIs. Again, these are boosts to give a fillip to the financial sector per se. They have been one of the worst sufferers as of now, and all of us are aware, of the present happenings. This is one. Second point is there have been a special refinance scheme announced to NABARD, SIDBI, and to the National Housing Bank of a total amount of 50,000 crore, right? And, there are certain other things which are not very relevant in the sense, much more for economic side. But now coming to our discussion per se once again. So the first point, 3 lakh crore collateral-free automatic loans for businesses including MSMEs, right? Now, again, there was a question in the afternoon, Mr. Vyas had sent to me. He stated that for those accounts having an outstanding of 25 crore and a turnover of about 100 crore, as on 29 February 2020, they are entitled to avail of an enhancement in their term loan and the working capital by 20%. The question was, applications have been made to the bank, and as of now, are the banks passing on the benefit to the prospective borrowers? Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Vyas. I mean, this was a question. Let me see if
Correct.
this was a question, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So,
Bank is not providing.
Right. So it is not that bank is not providing. The banks have been given this provision by the ministry that 3 lakh crore collateral free loan for businesses, including MSMEs. Now, there have been numerous banks for whom the policies are still awaited. There are banks who have received the policy. They're in the process of, carrying out the appraisal for granting this additional facility. And some clients, they have received an in-principle sanction of getting a 20% enhancement in their, application. Now, the question was whether banks are giving or not. They are, definitely bound to give. So to say here, not only the banks, even the NBFCs, they are supposed to, pass on the benefit which the ministry has accorded to them. It may take some time. The policies are still underway for some banks or maybe NBFCs. One question came up, not from your side, but in some other place. Is it a birthright of the borrower to go in for an enhancement of 20%? Now, this is a question I'm throwing to the floor. I mean, the government has announced that 3 lakh crore collateral free automatic loan for businesses. Now, is it a birthright? I mean, the moment I apply, the bank or the NBFC, they have to give. What is your take? I mean, question to the floor. Anyone?
Sir, Vinodji raising his hand. Let me unmute him?
Sure. Why not?
Vinodji, आप बोलिए. आप unmute कीजिए, then you can speak.
Hello.
हाँ बोलिए. Vinodji, namaskar. बोलिए.
Namaskar. I had put 2 questions in the email. I think you might have got it.
Tell me.
2 questions in the email. The first question is whether the existing running units which are not hitherto registered for MSME due to the old limits of turnover and plant and machinery investment, whether they can now get it registered themselves. First question. Second question is the value of plant and machinery investment is to be reckoned as per the written down cost as on today when he is applying, or the original cost when it was acquired.
Okay. So these 2 points I'm going to take up, Vinodji. Thank you for the question. The first point, for those units who were not enjoying the MSME benefit, or they were not registered, because there has been a drastic change in the definition of MSME post 13th of May and 1st of June. So in my view, they should go ahead, make an application for getting themselves registered as a MSME if they're falling within the criteria of the definition as has been stipulated. That is the first point. Second thing, are they entitled to take the benefit? Now, this scheme goes on up to 31st of October 2020. So there would be a lot of units, those who are now falling under the MSME bracket. They were hereunto unregistered because they were not part and parcel of falling within the definition of MSME. So in my humble submission, since the scheme runs up to 31st October 2020, they should go and register for MSME and apply to their respective banks and institutions. Okay, next important point. This 3 lakh crore, the beauty of it is 100% guarantee cover to banks and NBFCs on principal and interest. That is there. So it is covered under a sovereign guarantee, so to say. Okay. There is no guarantee fee, no fresh collateral has to be provided, because the definition itself says 3 lakh crore collateral free automatic loan for businesses, including MSMEs, right? As a result of this, it is estimated that almost 45 lakh units can resume business activity and safeguard the jobs of the prospective employees what they have. Coming to the next point, 20,000 crore subordinate debt for stressed MSMEs. Okay, what do I mean by subordinate debt? I'm just going to take 2 or 3 minutes to take you through what exactly is the definition, what exactly does this mean. So the government of India has come up with the fact to facilitate a provision of 20,000 crore as subordinate debt, and their estimate is it is likely to benefit more than 2 lakh MSMEs across the country. Now, functioning MSMEs, so those MSMEs which are into operation, which are carrying out their businesses, which are NPA or are stressed. So mind my words, which are stressed as well as NPA. So NPA, we all know the definition. So stress, what does it mean? So in terms of, SMA 0, 1, 2, 3, if they fall in criteria SMA 1 or above, they are stressed. Okay. So these are functioning MSMEs which are falling under this criteria. So the government will also provide a support under the CGT MSE scheme to the extent of 4,000 crores. And they will provide a partial credit guarantee support to banks. Now, how this debt is given? So this debt is given by banks to the promoters of these MSME units, which in turn will be infused in as an equity in the unit. So this is the meaning of this subordinated debt. The third point says 50,000 crore equity infusion through fund of funds. What do we mean by this? At any point of time in the current scenario, why MSME, even large size corporates, they'll be facing the music in terms of the liquidity. That is a crunch, that is a crisis, that is a big pitfall for any of the business houses. So what does government come up with? They have come up with a fund of funds with a corpus of 10,000 crores to be set up, right? This will provide equity funding. Mind you, this is a big step, getting into an equity funding for the MSMEs. What kind of MSMEs they're targeting? With growth potential and viability. Again, what do I mean by growth potential and viability? Again, in the earlier statement that said functioning MSMEs. So they are looking at those MSMEs which have a growth potential and which are viable. Such units will be provided with the equity infusion. Only time will tell as to how this takes shape. So this fund of fund will be operated through a mother fund and a few daughter funds. What does this mean? I am coming to it. Now the fund structure is such that it will help leverage 50,000 crore of funds with this initial corpus of 10,000 crore. And this will help MSMEs to expand in size as well as in capacity, right? So there is this 10,000 crore corpus which is created. Down the line, there are daughter funds. So this is, in this structure, it is going to function. How it takes shape, only time will tell, as and when things progress. Now, another important factor, the MSMEs, they will also get a chance, or they are already doing that. They will be encouraged to list on the main board of stock exchanges. This is again a welcome feature adding to the liquidity of the MSMEs. Global tenders up to 200 crores. Sorry, global tenders to be disallowed up to 200 crores. Hereunto, those MSMEs which had this, they had to face a lot of competition from various segments actually. Now that Indian MSMEs and others, in order to do away with the unfair competition from large corporates or from foreign companies, this provision has been introduced. Now, necessary amendments, of course, will fall in line with the general financial rule, right? This is again a boost to the MSME sector. No fresh insolvency proceeding against MSMEs for 1 year. Now, as of now, the provisions which stood till yesterday for an outstanding of 1 lakh rupees, any operational creditor, financial creditor could approach NCLT or the DRT as the case may be to file a case against this MSME. So this has been put at rest that no insolvency proceeding against MSME for 1 year. When does this 1 year commences? I guess ever since this is the scheme has come into place. Just one important thing for the change of definition that will take effect from 1st of July. I mean, I forgot to mention that. That will take effect from 1st of July. Now, another important factor that has come, this e-marketing linkages. What do I mean by this? The MSMEs in general are facing problems of marketing and liquidity on account of the COVID-19 prevalence and on account of the coronavirus threat to the entire MSME sector. This e-market linkages for MSME, this is proposed to be promoted, which will act as a replacement towards trade fairs and exhibitions. And not only this, as I was mentioning just prior to the commencement of the meeting, that there has been certain tech platforms, the fintech, financial technology platforms will be used to enhance transactions-based lending using the generated data generated by such marketplaces. So, as I was mentioning right in the beginning, things will go to a new normal. There is no need for going or participating in trade fairs or exhibition. This is what is targeted. As a result of this, what will happen? You can, carry out your marketing or your promotion of your products using this e-market linkages. And it's also decided that the government will continuously monitoring settlement of dues. 90,000 crore liquidity injection for discoms. I'll just come to it a bit later. Reduction of CRR we have discussed. Now, one important point, MSME receivables from government to be cleared in 45 days. Now, friends, again, posing a very, very difficult proposition or question for the house over here. Is it a fact that, we get our funds realized within 45 days? I want to be enlightened on this fact. Let's say your client has been working for numerous, government enterprises, PSUs, central government or the state government. The dues are stuck, humongous amounts are stuck. So please enlighten me whether this really works. The MSME receivable that was there in the past also, the MSME Act, they had said, the receivables for the MSME segment must be cleared within a stipulated time frame. How this functions, that MSME receivables from government to be cleared in 45 days. Let us have some brainstorming over here. Please, may I welcome, a couple of you. I'm just taking a break with the water. Yeah, Sanjeev, any views on that count?
I don't think so, Vikashji. You can continue.
No, nothing much. Okay. Fair enough. The next point is for business workers, support for business and workers for 3 months. Now, we all understand that businesses are continuing to, face a flack. The financial stress is there. And going back to work, and more particularly, I have a very, very serious concern over here. There has been a mass exodus of the migrant labor from various parts of the country. Now, more particularly, the labor from our eastern region, so to say Bihar, Jharkhand, Odisha, or maybe the Northeast or some parts of UP. So people are coming home in droves. What happens, and as and when the businesses start, what happens to the migrant labor? I mean, this is of course slightly off the track, but then this is a concern. I was talking to a couple of clients, they have started their units, say about 5 or 7 days back. The moot question is, let's say even if they're working with, so Chandakji, I'll come to it in just a moment. The moot question is, even though workers, they've gone away, they're working with a stipulated workforce, maybe 1/4 or 1/3 in number, but even getting those kind of numbers are posing a big threat to the MSMEs or to the smaller units who intend to commence their production. Now, even if the production is commenced, how exactly are the consumers, going to take over these production things actually? So these things are still posing a big question. Now, Chandakji has made a mention, it was there earlier also. Yes, I did made a mention in the MSME Act of 2006. It was mentioned that MSMEs, the receivables to MSMEs should be cleared in 45 days, but it was not forthcoming actually. It was not happening. Over here, I again, bring forth a point that for those PSUs, government PSUs I'm talking about, the state or the central, in case MSME dues are of a phenomenal amount, let's say exceeding 1 crore or 2 crores of rupees, and they are outstanding for over, say, maybe a month or 2 months or 3 months like that, are they entitled to knock the doors of NCLT? In other words, are they entitled to claim their benefits, treating them as their corporate debtors? This again is a question that, that is doing the round. So in case anyone would like to take over, please throw your ideas over here.
Vikasji, there are a couple of questions on the chat box. Do you want me to ask those questions to you?
Yeah, please start. I mean, no problem. Sanjeev, just a moment, Sanjeev.
Sure.
So,
Yes.
this slide is slightly dithering in my end. So that is why somehow the other I have to stop the video. I mean, keep this video in off mode. The bandwidth is creating a problem in my end.
No,
so
don't
you
worry.
can start the questions.
You may switch off the video, but let me ask you the question.
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
So there is a question from Chandakji which says, realization of debt within 45 days was earlier also, but not very effective. Now compiling government, let's wait, see that. I think this is a feedback. This is not a question. But then Kedia ji has a question. Can a RP get a payment within 45 days from the COC if he himself gets registered and get Udyog Aadhaar?
The payment of RP from the COC. Just repeat the question, Sanjay. I got lost actually.
The question is, can a RP get a payment within 45 days from the COC if he himself gets registered? If required, we can have Mr. Kedia ji, unmute himself and can speak also.
Yeah, no problem. Let him speak.
So Kedia ji, do you want to speak? Can you unmute yourself and speak? Yes, I've unmuted our Kedia ji.
Yes, good evening. Good evening, Vikas ji.
हाँ, good evening, Kedia ji. बोलो.
हाँ, सर मैं ये बोल रहा हूँ कि अगर एक आरपी रजिस्ट्रेशन लेता है अंडर MSME प्लेटफॉर्म, so can he get the payment within 45 days from the COC or banks?
Kedia ji, ऐसा है कि in so far as registration is concerned, RP को लेना नहीं लेना, it is immaterial because they are definitely getting the part of their fees from the COC. It is it is the COC who is bound to pay the RP, and that too on a monthly basis. I mean, the RPs, they charge their fees on a monthly basis once they're appointed the RP. So once you're there, you're going through the entire rigmarole of the process of the resolution actually. So till the time that is there, it is irrespective of COC comprises essentially of the financial creditors, right? So they are the ones who are going to pay you. I don't see any reason why you should not get it.
Okay, Vikas.
विकास जी, विनोद जी का और एक क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ, बोलिए ना.
We want a clarification regarding investment in plant for existing units. Will it be written down value or the original cost, say 15 years back when unit started?
In my view, it should be taken at the original cost.
Okay. And then there are a few observations from Ashok Agarwal ji, who says in case of one MSME payment is due for over 1 year, they have registered their complaint with MSME department, but even after expiry of 2 months, no action has been taken.
So here I would like to, who's asked this question, Sanjeev?
Ashok Agarwal ji.
Acha, Ashok ji, good evening, Vikas on this side. So to answer this question, for all the grievances under the MSME, there is a portal actually, you can find it online. Once you make a complaint over there, so I'm surprised as to 2 months has elapsed as to there has been no resolution to it. I think you should take it up again because this portal generally is responding to, the concerns or grievances of the MSMEs. This is a portal meant for that one. Yeah, you registered a complaint. So again, make a follow-up. That's it. I mean, as of now, you have to carry on a follow-up.
So if anybody has any other questions, they can raise their hand and they can speak, or we can request the speaker to continue. So we have a question from Ashish Mashkara ji. Can an unregistered MSME establish erstwhile time now was to register as a MSME and go for loan? The said firm did any loan previously.
So this I've already answered, but still I'm taking it again. If you are unregistered so far, but if you fall within the ambit and the definition of the MSME as pronounced on 1st of June, you should jolly well go ahead and register your client for that. And if you're already an existing, a borrower from any bank or NBFC, you have time up to 31st of October, right? Within which you have to make an application for availing of this 20% of collateral-free loan. Can we carry on?
Yeah, please.
Okay, next slide,
Sir.
please.
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, I have yes, sir. In case if we have investment in building more than 50 crores, but our investment in plant and machinery is less than 50 crores. So in that case, will that unit be considered as MSME?
So in terms of definition, if you see the criterion for MSME for the manufacturing and the service enterprises, this says investment in plant and machinery and equipment. So your building is not forming part of the equipment. In any case, you're saying your investment in plant and machinery is less than 50 crores. So irrespective of whatever be the size of the land or building, you can jolly well go and, get a registration for MSME.
Okay, thank you.
Right.
So Ashish,
there has been some, Sanjeev, there has been some scribbling on the screen in case,
yeah, I think there was a share screen issue. Don't worry, it will go out.
Okay.
Ashish, do you want to ask questions straight to Vikas ji? Ashish Maskara.
Yes, Ashish. I didn't see.
Okay, Vikas ji, you can continue with the.
Okay. So there are some more incentives and possibilities to conserve cash. I'll just run this through because the subject matter of our discussion that relates to the MSME provision, but still this slide, this was prepared. I'm just taking you through the company fresh start scheme 2020 one-time condonation of delay. This I think should be a welcome move, more particularly for some of our MSME clients who have not filed their returns, not filed their balance sheets or the documents which calls for humongous amount of penalty. Should be a welcome scheme. LLP settlement scheme 2020 one-time condonation of delay. We are all aware delay in filing of any document under the LLP scheme, it calls for a good amount of penalty. Obtaining lower tax deduction certificate, I'll come to it a bit later. Permission to deposit TDS, raise complaint. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, now before going to this slide, reduction in TDS rates by 25%. Okay, so as of now, for various services that we used to render, professional services or maybe commission, brokerages, so on and so forth, the rate has been reduced from 10% to 7.5%. What exactly is the infusion of cash over here? I mean, this is a question waging in my mind. What is the the package? It says reduction in TDS rates. How exactly it is enhancing the the liquidity in the system? If somebody can take this question from my side. Sanjeev, are you clear with the question?
Sorry, I didn't follow because.
So my question is, there is a reduction in the rate of TDS from normally, I mean, we are talking the 10% slab, from 10% to 7.5%. There is a reduction in the rate. How this is enhancing the liquidity in the system? My question is this.
I want to answer this question if you want.
Please, sir. Yeah, sure.
So in this case, our collections from our debtors or our parties will be more. So earlier we were getting 90%, and right now we are getting 92.5%.
In other words, what you mean to say, more funds will be available at the disposal of the taxpayers?
Yes, during the year. Since we are if in case we have refunds, then refund we get after 1 or 1.5 year.
Okay.
So in this case, we are getting more money in hands.
Right. And
more liquidity to enterprises.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, adding more funds to the hands of the taxpayers. Okay. Now, this measure, they say this will boost the liquidity by 50,000 crore. I mean, this is an estimate. I don't know how it takes shape. All pending GST refunds to be cleared. Now, one important factor, please make a look away. I mean, your attention is drawn over here. Statutory PF contribution of both employer and employee will be reduced to 10% each from existing 12% each for all establishment covered by EPFO for the next 3 months and further 3 months as well. Now, how this is going to help, I'll just take a minute or two to discuss this, then we proceed on. Okay. Under the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan package, which is known as PMGKP, payment of 12% of employer and 12% of employee contribution, this is now made straight away into the EPF accounts of eligible establishment. This was provided for March, April, and May of 2020. And this support has been extended by another 3 months for June, July, and August. And it says this will provide a liquidity of 2,500, by about 2,500 crore of rupees. Now, similarly, the Employee Provident Fund contribution, which has been reduced for business and workers for 3 months, this is likely to infuse a liquidity of about 6,750 crores. Now, these are all estimates made by the Ministry of Finance. This is what I'm stating, the facts which has been pronounced by the Finance Minister. So therefore, statutory PF contribution of both employer and employee will be reduced to 10% as mentioned on the screen over here. Now, this scheme will be applicable for workers who are not eligible for 24% EPF. So you can't take advantage under both the scheme because 12% each of employer and employee, that was given to the credit of the establishments, actually entitled or eligible establishments. So this again is a boon. Extension of due dates for TDS, GST, income tax returns. We are all aware of this. Pending income tax refunds to be cleared. This again, I guess, is a welcome move, and more particularly for refunds up to 5 lakhs. They're saying, I think it has already started coming also. Next slide, please. Come to regulation 2. Yeah. So decriminalization of Companies Act of violation of, this again has been pronounced, should be a welcome move. Now, this is again to infuse confidence in the businesses actually. So there have been a number of, very minor or defaults, so to say. So these things have been decriminalized. So I guess, it is a welcome move for all of us. Now, reducing the compliance burden under various provisions of the Companies Act. Yet again, friends, this was not falling under the MSME segment, but then, most of our companies, they are under the MSME, they fall under the MSME criterion. There are a lot of companies and LLPs functioning as such. So I just thought I'll, bring it to the floor. Next slide, please. Okay. Extension in due date, last day of filing income tax return. This again is a welcome feature. Extension of due date for Aadhaar. Right. So these are all regulatory provisions, friends. I mean, these are just relaxations. I think we'll be the lot who should be all the more happy with the pronouncements of the FM. I mean, what she has done over here. Okay, next, please. I had made a mention right in the beginning as to what could be possible opportunities that, we can as such look under the new normal. We are all, most of us are in practice. Sorry?
Go ahead. जी का बीच में unmute हो गया था.
कोई बात नहीं. It's fine. Okay. Recasting business plans and forecasts. So again, these points what I've made a mention, these things are going towards enhancing the opportunities what we are having. So please don't take me in a negative sense, but more particularly lending a helping hand, taking the MSMEs out of this pleasant glut. They are the ones who need our services more than anybody else. So I guess this would be a welcome feature. And of course, this is adding to our opportunities what are coming by our way. So recasting of business plans and forecasts, every businesses, for the whole year, they're having certain plans and forecasts. They are doing their budgeting, they have their variances, so on and so forth. So this will be a welcome feature for us to assist the MSME clients. Renegotiating legal contracts. So here I would just like to make a mention. What about force majeure? In most of the contractual agreements, there was no mention of force majeure. I'm sure even, you must have come across. In case anyone has any experience, please share it with the house. Renegotiating legal contracts. So let's say your client is, in a hired office premises and is not able to meet the rental cost of the landlord, what happens in that case? Any taker from the floor? Gopal? Fair enough. So this again, would require our intervention. We are the ones who are going to take them through renegotiating the legal contracts, the business valuations and the impact on DCF valuation. This is humongous actually, because whatever we talk of valuation, whatever we talk of the enterprise value, that is all gone for a toss in the present times. So again, we'll have to assist our clients for those who are in the process of raising funds from external investors. So how they look at recasting their statements, how they think their valuations are going to emerge from here, what is the impact on the DCF, the future cash flows, all these things we'll have to assist our clients. Adopting innovative survival strategies, attractive sectors. Yes, friends, this is very vital. The edtech sector, healthcare, gaming, esports, these could be some of the sectors in which possibly we can take a lead, we can do a handholding for the clients, advise them as to, enter into edtech space, healthcare. Now, just giving a fillip or 1 or 2 points in these, the edtech, if you see, as of now, we are functioning under a virtual platform. There have been numerous education companies which have come to the foray. They are taking the classes, even the schools, they're taking the classes for the kids online. So this could be a big time business for the MSME sector. Healthcare, telemedicine, or let's say, forming a platform wherein you can attract a lot of healthcare, different, hospitals or nursing homes or doctors or paramedics on a platform to render services to the public at large. Gaming, esports, I think this again is a welcome feature, sustainable mobility, so on and so forth. Possibility of joint venture. There was a question which was raised to me this afternoon. How about collaborating? What about, units getting together? See, it's always a welcome move for joint ventures in terms of, there is a synergy wherein 2 or more enterprises coming together, and not only they add value in terms of the businesses, they provide a robust platform to face the nuances of the uncertainties from here. So this could be a jolly well platform for us. Mastering supply chain challenges. Of course, whichever unit that they go to, there is a challenge in terms of raw materials, labor, the different items that are needed to carry on the manufacturing activities. Focus on generating revenues and unit economics. Significant splurge in cross-border M&As. So why cross-border? Even in our own country, there would be a lot of companies, a lot of MSMEs which will not be able to survive the onslaught of the present happening. They would be up for sale. So there would be larger fishes who are definitely going to come and absorb these kind of units. So this would throw up certain opportunities for us in the M&A space. The consolidation and scale would be the new norm. Next slide, please. Well, this is for all of us to see. Improved ease of doing businesses, corporate tax, which has been reduced, dividend distribution tax abolished, so on and so forth. This is just, to invite more and more businesses for us from across the globe. Right, friends. So I think by and large, okay, just one more slide, please, after thank you. So in the present, just a moment, just see what is happening. A company like Ola, they've fired 1,400 employees. Just proceed on to the previous slide. Okay, it's not there. So this is for just to take a view. So there has been GDP forecast for 21. There are so many agencies: Care Rating, SBI, Nomura, ICRA, Bernstein, Goldman Sachs, and their views. So this is just I've made a collage from the Economic Times actually. Next point, please. Next slide, please. A job crisis like no other. I've already spoken about the unemployment that has taken the front seat now. Next. So over here we have a silver lining. A company such as Asian Paints, they're there to boost the morale of the employees. I guess larger corporates still take fancy from Asian Paints as to how they are taking care of their employees. We have to set an example of true leadership. This is what the MD has to say of Asian Paints. Next slide. So this is the summary of the various tranches that has been pronounced by the FM. The first stimulus, we already discussed all of these actually. Please come to the next one. So this is pronouncement in part 2 for the poor and migrant labor. Next one. Yeah, micro food enterprises, Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, agricultural fund. So this is relating to agriculture. Next. 4 and 5. So in total, come to the last slide. Come to the slide after this. So this is the breakup of 20 lakh crore package what the government has announced. Now, before I stop for a moment before taking on the questions. So one or two things more that I just would like to bring to the knowledge of the participants. That is, there is a special liquidity scheme for NBFCs, HFCs and MFIs that has been pronounced. So the government has stated that there is a 30,000 crore special liquidity scheme for such companies engaged in NBFC, housing finance and MFIs. And under this scheme, it is proposed that investment to be made in both primary and secondary market transactions, right? In investment grade debt paper of such companies. So this again would provide a fillip to the much cash-starved companies such as in these sectors actually. And one more thing, all the securities what we are issuing, these are all fully guaranteed by the government of India. This is in order to provide the liquidity support. Okay, one more point before I close it. Yeah, I made a mention right in the beginning, discoms I'll discuss later. So what do we mean by this benefit that has been passed on to discoms? This is, yeah, you can stop the screen sharing. I mean, we are through with our presentation, no worries. Again, where it is. Fair enough. So just to speak about liquidity injections for discom. So there has been unprecedented cash flow in terms of which is accentuated by demand reduction. There is a problem in terms of cash flow. So the Power Finance Corporation and Rural Electrification Corporation, they have been there to infuse liquidity to the extent of 90,000 crore to discoms against their receivables. So this is a point that this was left in the beginning. I just thought I'll make a mention of this. So friends, this is what the presentation is all about. And I guess you've had a discussion on this. Now let us go to the questions. Let's see, how many of them. Yes, Gopal, let's go.
Yes, yeah. Okay. Yeah. PK Singh ji ka question है, sir.
बोलिए.
Yeah, package announced including retail traders for benefit age MSME. Then I think traders are covered under MSME. Is it correct?
एक minute. Just one minute. So traders will not be, under the definition of MSME. That's my view.
Okay.
Thanks.
मैं क्या करके दे रहा हूँ?
एक मिनट. इधर होगा, एक बार देख लो. Sorry, my son came in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. अच्छा, विकास कान्हा जी का क्वेश्चन है. Yeah, if CTC include PF, then employer has to pay. If not paid, you can take it up with the judicial labor commissioner.
उन्होंने तो आंसर ही दिया. ठीक है.
What do you want to say?
Good for us. I mean, this is a suggestion for us. ठीक है, आगे चलो.
Okay. ये चांडक जी का है सर. Under MSME Act, retail traders are not covered. Whereas bank classified.
क्या बैंक?
Under MSMEs, they are doing any clue? बैंक रिटेलर को MSME क्लासिफाई करके लोन देता है सर, उनके हिसाब से.
देखिए, since all of us are ऐसा हुआ है कि बैंक्स में ये दिखाया गया है कि बहुत छोटा अमाउंट कोई प्लांट एंड मशीनरी में इन्वेस्टेड है और रिटेल ट्रेड का, और प्रोविजनल सर्टिफिकेट और रजिस्ट्रेशन ले लिए हैं अंडर MSMED, बैंक ने दे दिया, ऐसा केसेस आया है, बट इन जनरल रिटेल ट्रेडर्स आर नॉट कवर्ड.
Okay. Then we will go next.
Vikas ji,
हाँ सर.
I would like to intervene here.
Yes sir, please.
इकोनॉमिक बैलेंस में, इकोनॉमिक्स में अपनी जो इकोनॉमी के पिलर्स है GDP के,
हाँ.
एग्रीकल्चर, इंडस्ट्री और सर्विसेज है.
हाँ.
इकोनॉमिक पैरामीटर्स में रिटेल ट्रेड कम्स अंडर द बैलेंस ऑफ सर्विसेज. यहाँ हमारे GDP का कैलकुलेशन इकोनॉमिक्स में निकालती है प्लानिंग कमीशन, योजना आयोग, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. वो लोग रिटेल सेगमेंट्स को सर्विस सेक्टर्स के अंदर में लेती हैं. दिस इज प्रेवलेंट ऑल ओवर द वर्ल्ड. Why in MSME Act it has not been included? Because retail trade है, it is a very significant part of our economic parameters. तो यदि उसको हम exclude करते हैं तो बहुत बड़ी injustice हो.
ऐसा है सर कि एक पॉइंट मैं यहाँ बोलना चाहूँगा. Still there are many trials and errors which are in place. I mean definitive चीज अभी कोई भी मान लीजिए परिभाषाएं जो change हुई है. So back to back the changes have been made as on 13th May and again on 1st of June. So there has been some, sort of inkling going on in the trade and commercial part of the economy in our country. So अभी उसको include किया नहीं किया, अभी बहुत सारे trial and error में भी representations जाएं from trades, chambers of commerce या trade bodies या अपने study circle या institutes से. It has to be a definitive thing. There has to be something which is substantive, which needs proper justification in order to include that. अगर ऐसा कुछ करें अपने, so possibly, in my view, we should take up. And once you are making a mention that retail trade is taken as a services sector across the globe and not in our
in
MSME.
WTO में भी यही है विकास जी. In WTO also retail is included in service sectors.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Next, please.
Next, Gopal.
Yes, sir. What is the mechanism to follow the complaint file? अशोक अग्रवाल जी का क्वेश्चन है सर.
MSME पोर्टल का
What is the mechanism to
अशोक जी को बोलने दो एक बार. अशोक जी मतलब एग्जैक्टली क्या चीज पूछ रहे हैं मेरे को अगर मालूम.
मैं उनको अनम्यूट करता हूँ.
अनम्यूट कर दीजिए.
हाँ अशोक जी प्लीज रेज योर हैंड. Yeah, I unmuted Ashok ji. Hello, Ashok ji.
Hello. Yes, hello.
Yes, yeah, please.
I have already lodged a complaint, but no action has been taken. So what is the mechanism, how to follow it? Can you guide me? Hello?
Sorry, sir. Pani pila. You have already lodged a complaint over the portal and no action has been taken so far.
Yeah.
पहला चीज तो सर आप उसको फिर फॉलो अप किए हैं क्या? what
How
exactly
to follow it up? I don't find any that option to follow it up.
Sir, exact मतलब if you can just throw some light कि exact issue क्या था, maybe I can
add supplied
or else एक बढ़िया चीज होगा, you hire a lawyer who's expert in that subject, sir. उसको पोर्टल में कैसे क्या कर सके? I'm not too conversant.
Okay.
Next, Gopal.
जस्ट ठीक है, संजय जी को मैं अनम्यूट कर देता हूँ.
करिए ना.
या संजय जी.
हाँ विकास जी.
हाँ प्रभु जी नमस्कार, कैसे हैं?
बस बढ़िया भाई साहब. ऐसा हो रखा है कि बेसिकली क्या है कि जितने ट्रेडर्स है ना, जो कि मान लिया जाए कि मैन्युफैक्चरर नहीं है, बहुत दूर दूर से जहाँ सब्जी मंडी है या अनाज की मंडी है, वो बहुत जगह से अपना माल कलेक्शन करते हैं और बाजार में बेचते हैं. टेक्निकली वो ट्रेडर हो गए, लेकिन बहुत बड़ी सर्विस प्रोवाइड करते हैं. और वो लोग बैंक में जो अप्लाई कर रहे हैं, और बैंक के चार्ट में भी रिटेल ट्रेड को MSME एक्ट में रखता है. इकोनॉमिक अनाउंस जो पैकेज अनाउंस हुई है, उसमें जितनी बेनिफिट MSME को है, इक्वल बेनिफिट पैरेलली रिटेल ट्रेडर को भी दी गई है.
ठीक है.
सवाल अब ये क्लाइंट लोग अब क्या है कि रोज फोन करना शुरू कर दिए कि भाई मेरा भी रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाओ। रजिस्ट्रेशन इसलिए करवाओ कि हम भी तो सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं। कहाँ तमिलनाडु से कोचिंग का सामान खरीद रहे हैं, कलकत्ते में बेच रहे हैं। मेरा तो सबसे बड़ा सर्विस इंडस्ट्री हो गया। तो आज के दिन यदि एमएसएमई अप्लाई कर देते हैं उसके रूपरेखा को देखते हुए कि ब्रॉडली आई एम कमिंग इनटू द सर्विस कैटेगरी, जैसे व्यास जी ने बताया इकोनॉमिक पार्लेंस में जो तीन ही सेक्टर है ना भाई, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, एग्रीकल्चर,
सर्विस।
तो इसके हिसाब से अगर एमएसएमईडी में हम लोग अपना एमएसएमई के हिसाब से रजिस्ट्रेशन ट्रेडर्स का अप्लाई करें तो क्या रजिस्ट्रेशन हो जाएगा क्या?
देखिए प्रमोद जी, ये कहना कि हो जाएगा कि नहीं हो जाएगा ये मैं नहीं बता सकता, बट व्हाट कैन बी डन इज, एक जो आपने फैक्टर बताया कि जो सब्जी भाजी मंडी वाले जो काम कर रहे हैं, कई बार आप देखिएगा बैंक से जब ये लोग कोई अप्लाई करते हैं, दे आर ट्रीटेड अंडर अ प्रिविलेज क्लास इन टर्म्स ऑफ एग्रीकल्चरल बिजनेसेस में आ जाते हैं ये, ठीक है। नाउ रिटेल ट्रेड में आपका रजिस्ट्रेशन होगा कि नहीं होगा, अगेन अगर अपने परिभाषा से चलते हैं एज प्रोनाउंस ऑन 1 जून अमेंडेड प्रोविजन, उसमें है क्राइटेरिया है इन्वेस्टमेंट इन प्लांट एंड मशीनरी एंड इक्विपमेंट एंड टर्नओवर की क्राइटेरिया है।
बिल्कुल
रिटेल ट्रेड मे बी फॉलोइंग दैट क्राइटेरिया। रजिस्ट्रेशन होगा कि नहीं होगा, तो वील हैव टू मेक एन एप्लीकेशन। उसका कैसे वो लोग उसको कैसे इंटरप्रेट करते हैं। व्यास जी ने एक बहुत पर्टिनेंट पॉइंट अभी इट इज फॉर अस टू लर्न कि भी इफ इट इज फॉलोड अक्रॉस द ग्लोब, इवन WTO इज रिकॉग्नाइजिंग these kind of retail trade as a service, so why it should be included in the definition of MSMED. So to put that at rest, we need to have substantive representation wherein this is incorporated so that anomalies are put at rest. अगर अपने देखेंगे कि एक एक व्यापारी वर्ग वो कर रहे हैं अप्लाई, अब मान लीजिए कोई ज्वेलरी सेक्टर में है, मतलब छोटा मोटा कोई ज्वेलरी है वो कोई बना रहा है, वेदर दैट विल फॉल अंडर MSMED, अभी ये इसको कैसे क्या अपने डिफाइन करेंगे। तो एक एक जो सेगमेंट है उसका है तो कोई लार्जर पार्लेंस, इफ इट इज इंक्लूडेड इन दैट डेफिनेशन by virtue of these representations made by professional bodies or chambers of trades of commerce, I think now as I said we are working in a lot of trial and error mode. अभी जो चल रहा है गरम गरम हथौड़ा है, कहीं कुछ मान लीजिए क्लिक कर गया, if it reaches the right resonance, right thread of the ministry, I'm sure this would find light at the end of the day. That is
Thank you विकास जी, thank you विकास जी। एक चीज खाली और बता दीजिए,
MSME मिनिस्टर भी जो हमारे नितिन गडकरी जी हैं,
हाँ,
उनका भी व्यू सपोर्ट करता है इस स्टैंड। चांडक जी आपको एक स्क्रीन शेयर कर रहे हैं, वन ऑफ द स्पीचेस नितिन गडकरी हैज आल्सो स्पोकन इन दिस लाइन।
हाँ बताइए। श्योर।
अच्छा जैन साहब एक बात और बता दीजिए, ये जो MSME का रजिस्ट्रेशन होता है ये कंपनी वाइज होगा ना? जैसे मान लो एक कंपनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है और वो मान लो कि होशियारी का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करती है, लेकिन जूते की ट्रेडिंग भी करती है यूपी में।
तो पहला तो ट्रेडिंग अपने उसमें आ ही नहीं रहा, तो होलसेल मतलब कपड़े का काम यहाँ कर रहे हैं, उससे आप ले रहे हैं MSMED।
नहीं तो MSMED जैसे कंपनी है, कंपनी की रजिस्टर्ड ऑफिस कलकत्ते है, एक यूनिट में मैन्युफैक्चरिंग है और एक यूनिट प्योर ट्रेडर है।
हाँ,
तो वो क्या यूनिट वाइज हमको लेनी पड़ेगी क्या कंपनी वाइज लेनी पड़ेगी?
तो आपको क्या है कि यूनिट वाइज आपका डेफिनेटली जो मान लीजिए एप्लीकेशन जा रहा है, यू आर मेकिंग अ मेंशन अबाउट ABCD जो भी आपके बिजनेसेस हैं, जो भी प्लेसेस
यूनिट वाइज होगा,
यूनिट वाइज आप जहाँ कर रहे हैं उसके हिसाब से आप अप्लाई करेंगे, बट कंपनी एक रहेगा उसमें ये एप्लीकेशन।
तो MSME का रजिस्ट्रेशन एक ही कंपनी फिर अलग अलग स्थान पे अलग अलग लेगी क्या?
हो सकता है ना, बिकॉज मान लीजिए कि आप कलकत्ता में कुछ कर रहे हैं, राजस्थान में कुछ कर रहे हैं, बॉम्बे में कुछ कर रहे हैं, तो अलग अलग जगह आपके प्लेसेस ऑफ बिजनेस तो सब जगह आएगी है ना। तो कंपनी तो एक अलग अलग यूनिट्स आपकी है, रजिस्ट्रेशन ले रहे हैं उसमें आप,
लाइक GST।
एग्जैक्टली। यस चांडक जी।
नहीं ये कंपनी का क्या होगा? हाँ मैं वो अलाउ नहीं कर रहा, मेरे को स्क्रीन शेयरिंग करो ना उसको।
अरे
स्क्रीन शेयरिंग
उनको स्क्रीन
हाँ मैं कर रहा हूँ।
ये प्रमोद जो क्वेश्चन
यार क्या हो रहा है ये व्यास जी, ये व्यास सर
बोलो।
चांडक बोल रहा था, बोलिए ना।
मैं कर रहा हूँ, उनको होस्ट बनाना पड़ेगा, वो होस्ट तब कर पाएंगे वो, मैं कर रहा हूँ।
नहीं चांडक जी वॉइस को खोलो ना।
चांडक जी को स्क्रीन शेयरिंग एज वेल एज अनम्यूट करो गोपाल।
अनम्यूट कर दिया उनको सर,
पहले
ही इज अनम्यूटेड।
हाँ ना ठीक है, थैंक यू। ये एक कंपनी का चाहे 6 यूनिट है तो एमएसएमई रजिस्ट्रेशन 6 का अलग अलग करना है, लेकिन एग्रीगेट में आपको देखना होगा इन्वेस्टमेंट इन प्लांट एंड मशीनरी जो लिमिट है उसको क्रॉस नहीं किया है। वो 1 करोड़, 10 करोड़ और जो 50 करोड़ का आ गया,
50 हो गया। हाँ ठीक है,
चाहे 2 यूनिट हो या 10 हो, तो ऑर्गेनाइजेशन वाइज देखना है। मैं नितिन गडकरी जी का इंडिया टुडे में आर्टिकल आया है, उसमें मैं भी इसी व्यू में था कि रिटेल ट्रेड इज नॉट इंक्लूडेड अंडर एमएसएमई डेफिनेशन। अब बैंक लोन में मैं अभी गया तो उन्होंने क्या कि रिटेल ट्रेड को एमएसएमई में क्लासिफाई करके दिखाते हैं। अभी आप देखो सेंट्रल बैंक का कोई भी बैंक का गाइडलाइन देखो, लोग रिटेल ट्रेड को एमएसएमई मान के चलता है या प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर लेंडिंग में लेके चलता है उसके बेसिस पे, बट लीगली स्पीकिंग एमएसएमई आर नॉट कवर्ड।
एक मिनट, एक पॉइंट मैं या जस्ट पूछ रहा था आपसे, सिंस यू मेड अ मेंशन कि रिटेल ट्रेड को कर रहे हैं, एक आपने बात कह दिया प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर लेंडिंग। सो लेट्स से बैंक में अगर आप जाएंगे, इफ एग्रीकल्चर इज देयर तो उसको प्रायोरिटी सेक्टर वो लोग ऑटोमेटिकली कंसिडर करेंगे, ठीक है। अब आपका जो रिटेल ट्रेड है, आपको एमएसएमई का क्लासिफिकेशन कुछ ना कुछ आपको देखिए रजिस्ट्रेशन मिला होगा, प्रोविजनल रजिस्ट्रेशन, without which bankers cannot pass on the entitled benefits to MSMEs। तो उसमें क्या है सर कि मान लीजिए एक छोटा सा 1 लाख 2 लाख का कोई इक्विपमेंट या कुछ मशीन दिखा दिए वो लोग, which is used for their business, और उस पे वो ले लिए, अगर वो सर्टिफिकेट और रजिस्ट्रेशन आ गया, banks have no question to ask them।
बिना एमएसएमई के रजिस्ट्रेशन के भी वो लोग एमएसएमई मान के रखा हुआ है।
So then,
बहुत आप तो बहुत दूर की बात बोल दी है। मैं तो ये देखता हूँ बिना एमएसएमई का रजिस्ट्रेशन को एमएसएमई ट्रीट किया हुआ है।
गलत है।
कौन डिस्प्यूट करे, बेनिफिट दे रहा है।
ऑडिटर्स में कम इनटू क्वेश्चन ना, आज मान लीजिए उनके कॉन्करेंट ऑडिट्स होते हैं, तो अगर ये जो बेनिफिट्स
कोई पॉइंट आउट नहीं करता, कोई पॉइंट आउट नहीं करता
सर। ये दिस इज अमंग अस सर, अपने अगर पिन पॉइंट नहीं कर रहे हैं या सामने
नहीं गलती है।
रजिस्ट्रेशन मस्ट है, रजिस्ट्रेशन तो
गोपाल शेयर स्क्रीन करना नहीं हो रहा मेरे से।
हाँ गोपाल नहीं, आपका नहीं उनका एक्चुअली कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है, को-होस्ट हो नहीं पा रहे वो।
मेरे को कोस्ट नहीं, तुम सिक्योरिटी में जाके एनेबल द पार्टिसिपेंट टू अलाउ स्क्रीन शेयर कर दो। सिक्योरिटी में जाओ, तब सब कोई कर सकता है, मैं तो कर ही दूंगा अभी।
ओके,
सिक्योरिटी में जाके एनेबल कर दो।
हाँ कर दिया मैंने, अब करिए।
हाँ अब देखो ये इंडिया टुडे का आर्टिकल है।
हाँ
दिख रहा है?
नहीं अभी आया नहीं सर।
आ गया।
ये इंडिया टुडे का है। मैं अभी जस्ट रिटेलर स्मॉल बिजनेस नॉट रजिस्टर्ड एज एमएसएमई एलिजिबल फॉर इमरजेंसी क्रेडिट। ये जो 3 लाख करोड़ का लोन है ना, ये एमएसएमई को जो दिया जाएगा उसमें रिटेलर्स को लोग इंक्लूड किया है। दिस इज द अनाउंसमेंट। और मेरे को ध्यान आता कुछ दिन आगे रिजर्व बैंक ने भी यही कहा था कि हम एक टीवी न्यूज में सुना था कि एमएसएमई के दायरे में हम लोग रिटेल ट्रेड को ले रहे हैं। तो यहाँ पे गडकरी जी का स्पेसिफिक बोला हुआ है, ये आएगा का हेडिंग वही था। देखो ये है ना, रिटेलर्स एंड होलसेलर्स एज पर एमएसएमई मिनिस्ट्री जून 17 ऑफिस मेमोरेंडम डिड नॉट फिगर इन 8 एक्टिविटीज in the manufacture or production of goods or providing or rendering of services in accordance with section 7 of the MSME। ठीक है, MSME ministry category during a series of interaction via video conferencing assured the trading community that government would try to address the crisis faced by them via the inclusion of traders under MSME sector as per service providers। तो जो विकास जी बोल रहे हैं एकदम करेक्ट, मेरे को भी वही कन्विक्शन था और वो मेरे ख्याल से यहाँ से और पक्का हो जाता है। और हमारा जो डिस्कशन ऑफिस में हम लोग का भी एक हुआ था कि WTO क्लासिफाई करता है रिटेल को सर्विस में, उसके क्लासिफाई करने से हमारा एमएसएमई एक्ट नहीं होता है। एमएसएमई स्ट्रिक्टली आपका जो उद्योग आधार है उसी से एमएसएमई होना चाहिए। मेरा तो यही अंडरस्टैंडिंग है।
करेक्ट चाणक्य जी। उसमें एक बात और है, अगर आप स्टेटमेंट को अगर आप पढ़े उसमें दिया हुआ है 3 लाख करोड़ कोलैटरल फ्री ऑटोमेटिक लोन फॉर बिजनेसेस इंक्लूडिंग एमएसएमई। तो अगर ये जो 3 लाख करोड़ की जो डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की बात कह रहे हैं, और इसमें भी जो लिखा है आपके स्क्रीन शेयर में, नितिन गडकरी इज मेंशनिंग द सेम वर्ड्स कि बिजनेसेस बीट रिटेल ट्रेडर कुछ भी है जिसका बैंक लोन चल रहा था, क्राइटेरिया क्या है 25 करोड़ तक का आउटस्टैंडिंग है, 100 करोड़ का उसका टर्नओवर है, उन लोगों को 3 लाख करोड़ ये दे रहे हैं, विच इंक्लूड्स एमएसएमईज। So please read that statement. अब यहाँ पे देखिए, this is a very very important segment कि Nitin Gadkari himself is recognizing retail should be included in services, but act में वो नहीं लिखा हुआ है. So we are going as per the definition the act. अगर वो act को amend कर देता तो हम लोग मान लेंगे.
यही बात है, यही बात. चलो, थैंक यू विकास जी.
Thank you.
विकास जी.
any question?
हाँ सर, क्वेश्चन है और भी. आई एम रीडिंग आउट जस्ट. यस, एक क्वेश्चन है ये रमनप्रीत जी का. इफ रियल एस्टेट कंपनी हैज रेंटल इनकम ऑफ 60 crores एज टर्नओवर, बिल्डिंग 600 crores and plant and machinery 5 crores, then will it cover under MSME?
देखिए ऐसा है कि ये क्या, इन सो फार एज द रियल एस्टेट कंपनी इज कंसर्न, उनकी इनकम है रेंटल इनकम. ठीक है, जो गोपाल तुमने पढ़ा वो क्या था, रेंटल इनकम है ना.
रेंटल इनकम है उसका 60 crores.
ठीक है, और इन्वेस्टमेंट इन प्लांट एंड मशीनरी है
5 crores.
So in my view, since it is rendering rental services and वो 5 crore का investment in plant and machinery within the stipulated वो है, it should apply to get itself as a MSME under the services category. अभी वो demarcated नहीं है manufacturing or services, so in my view they can jolly well apply.
But building worth is 600 crores. Sir,
उससे क्या मतलब है, बिल्डिंग से मतलब ही नहीं है ना, because criteria is investment in plant and machinery and equipment.
Plant and machinery,
तो plant and machinery वो क्या चीज का, मान लो कि ना वो कोई क्लीनिंग इक्विपमेंट रख रखा है, कोई रिपेयर मेंटेनेंस के लिए रख रखा है. सो दैट इज एज पर द MSME एक्ट, उनके परिभाषा है क्या क्या इक्विपमेंट कवर्ड है. सो बिल्डिंग 600 करोड़ का, उससे क्या लेन देन है.
तो बट मेरा जो अर्निंग हो रहा है विकास जी, वो तो मैक्सिमम अमाउंट, मेरा इन्वेस्टमेंट जो है 600 crores पे, मेरा अर्निंग तो उसी से हो रहा है.
तो ऐसा है कि 600 करोड़ तो लैंड और बिल्डिंग का है ना, इसके साथ प्लांट एंड मशीनरी भी है ना. मान लो अपने एक हाइपोथेटिकल केस बोलते हैं, 50-60 साल पहले मैंने कोई लैंड लिया था विद बिल्डिंग, उस समय उसका हिस्टोरिकल कॉस्ट था मान लो कि 5 लाख 10 लाख रुपया. आज के दिन में वो चेंज हैंड्स होकर उसी चीज का आज 50 करोड़ हो गया. तो हम क्या बोलेंगे कि हमारा बिल्डिंग में तो इतना लग गया उसका, मतलब उसका तो कोई ज्ञान गिनती नहीं ना. 600 करोड़ का बिल्डिंग है, इररेस्पेक्टिव ऑफ दैट. मैं क्या चीज की बात कर रहा हूँ, इन्वेस्टमेंट इन plant and machinery and equipment which are defined, which are known कि MSME criteria में है. अगर वो है, you go ahead and apply.
मेरा क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे एक और है, लाइक जैसे रियल एस्टेट कंपनियां जो होती है, जिनका बेसिकली काम होता है रेंटल आउट करना. मेरा ऑब्जेक्टिव है मैं बिल्डिंग बना के रेंटल आउट करता हूँ, और यदि मेरे बिल्डिंग का जो कॉस्ट है वो 600 crores रुपीज है मेरे बुक्स में, जिससे मैं 60 crores पर ईयर इनकम करता हूँ. तो क्या ये MSME में आएगा ये फिर भी?
आप 250 करोड़ से कम है रेवेन्यू आपका.
हाँ.
प्लांट एंड मशीनरी में कितने हैं, 50 करोड़ से कम है.
हाँ है.
मैं बिल्डिंग की नहीं बात कर रहा हूँ. आप सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं कि मतलब भाड़े पर लगा रहे हैं अपना जगह को, जिससे आप आमदनी अर्न कर रहे हैं.
यस,
मिलेगा.
तो आप अप्लाई करो
MSME
सर्विस
मिलेगा.
सेक्टर में.
MSME रजिस्ट्रेशन इंक्लूडेड.
ओके,
ठीक है.
नेक्स्ट गोपाल.
यस, लिमिट कैलकुलेशन में क्या कोर प्लांट एंड मशीनरी इक्विपमेंट ही सिर्फ.
सो इसमें दो चीजें हैं. एक मैं बता दूं आपको, जब भी कैलकुलेशन ऑफ प्लांट एंड मशीनरी होता है, एक बात मैं और इम्पोर्टेंट बोलना भूल गया, टर्नओवर का जो क्राइटेरिया है उसमें एक्सपोर्ट को काउंट नहीं होगा.
हाँ, एक्सपोर्ट को एक्सक्लूड कर दिया.
एक्सपोर्ट को एक्सक्लूड है, विच इज अ बिग बूस्ट. ओके, अब कोई पॉइंट छूट जाता है तो अभी याद आया, मैंने बोल दिया. नाउ प्लांट एंड मशीनरी का जो है core items of plant and machinery, उसका क्या मतलब, मान लो फॉर एग्जांपल you have let's say कोई additional balancing equipment है, whether it will fall under plant and machinery or equipment. आप बिजनेस करने जा रहे हो, आपका जो core plant and machinery है उसके बाद आपके बहुत सारे additives आएंगे, tools आएंगे, wares आएंगे, कई consumables आएंगे which are in the nature of plant and machinery but which are not used for the computation of the main items of plant and machinery. So again, in my view, those would have to be excluded. The core items of plant and machinery are included for computation of the MSME Act. Actually.
एक आशीष मस्करा जी का क्वेश्चन है.
हाँ.
One of my client have received letter from the bank of 20% credit of existing limit, who is under wholesale trading.
Who is under what trading?
Wholesale trading.
Wholesale trading.
होलसेल ट्रेडिंग, अच्छा तो ठीक है
बैंक
ना,
अलाउ किया है।
तो वो तो आप जो पहला परिभाषा है
अच्छा,
3
मिल ही
लाख
रहा है बैंक
करोड़
से।
कोलैटरल फ्री
यस
टू बिजनेसेस इंक्लूडिंग एमएसएमईज, तो बिजनेस में है तो ठीक है, पहले से लिमिट चल रहा है, करेगा, क्या दिक्कत है?
एंड
बैंक को भी तो बिजनेस करना है ना, एंड इट इज फुल्ली सिक्योर्ड बाय द सॉवरेन गारंटी, इट इज कोलैटरल फ्री, कोई गारंटी फी नहीं है, और बैक्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया। मान लो 1 करोड़ की लिमिट है, 20 लाख और दे दिया तो उसको कोई डर नहीं है, बिकॉज इट इज बैक्ड बाय सॉवरेन गारंटी।
विकास जी, जो एग्जिस्टिंग यूनिट्स ने आज तक कभी बैंक से लोन नहीं लिया और अब क्राइटेरिया एक्सटेंडेड हुई टर्नओवर फिगर्स के लिए,
करेक्ट,
अभी उन्होंने एमएसआई रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाया, तो वो क्या उनको कोलेटरल फ्री लोन मिल सकेगा?
तो ऐसा कोलैटरल फ्री का मेरे को डाउट है। यू कैन रजिस्टर योरसेल्फ अंडर एमएसएमई, अगर मान लीजिए आपका कोई लोन है नहीं, बिकॉज वो क्या कहता है क्राइटेरिया कि एज ऑन 29 फरवरी 2020 यू वुड हैव एन आउटस्टैंडिंग ऑफ मैक्सिमम ऑफ 25 करोड़ एज योर लिमिट। अब जब आपके लिमिट कोई है ही नहीं, आप एमएसएमई में क्राइटेरिया में क्वालिफाई कर लेंगे, यू विल अवेल ऑफ अदर बेनिफिट्स, बट इन माय व्यू ये 3 लाख करोड़ का कोलैटरल फ्री लोन आई डाउट। इससे बढ़िया आप एक काम कर सकते हैं, सीजीटी एमएससी में अप्लाई करिए, जहां 2 करोड़ तक का एलिजिबिलिटी आ गया है अभी।
सीजीटी एमएसएमई,
हाँ, क्रेडिट गारंटी ट्रस्ट फॉर माइक्रो एंड स्मॉल एंटरप्राइजेस।
अनदर वन इज पूनम अग्रवाल जी का उद्योग आधार एमएसएमई रजिस्ट्रेशन स्टेटिंग डेट न्यू डेफिनेशन ऑफ एमएसएमई इज एप्लीकेबल फ्रॉम
1st of July.
Yes. Then how I will get benefit of interest in the month of June?
You already have an existing limit.
Then I have to unmute Poonam Agarwal ji.
करिए, अनम्यूट करिए।
मैं पूनम अग्रवाल जी को अनम्यूट करता हूँ।
करिए ना।
Yeah, I am doing that.
बेटा तुम क्या कर रहा है? डिस्टर्ब, मीटिंग चल रहा है बेटा।
Yeah, Poonam ji.
Yeah.
Yeah. Please ask your questions.
Good evening. Tell me.
Good evening, sir. Vikas ji, my question is, if our client has existing limits and we are not able to get it registered as per new definition of MSME because the site is not taking the registration right now. So how I'll get the interest benefit in the month of June?
So the point is, there has been a moratorium extended from March, April, May, and again from May, June, July, August. Okay, there have been 2 extensions.
Right.
So whether you are an MSME or not, you would have had to apply to the lender actually, unless you go and tell them that you need a moratorium. I don't think any bank or lender, they would come to your aid stating that. So it is not only for MSME, but अगर आपको मान लो benefit लेना था in terms of extension of your installment as well as the interest, you should jolly well apply to your banker.
नहीं, हमने मोराटोरियम हमारे क्लाइंट ने नहीं अवेल किया, इंटरेस्ट का भी नहीं अवेल किया, because that time our client was not falling under MSME.
MSME की बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ पूनम, मैं MSME की बात अलग चीज है। MSME में बहुत सारे benefits हैं। मान लो for instance, I am giving you a live example. Supposing I am owning a car which I have taken on a loan from X bank. Okay, I am an individual, a practicing chartered accountant. I have no business of my own other than my own practice. Okay, I would have gone to the banker to avail of a deferment of or a moratorium on the installment or the interest. Even though I'm not MSME, I would have been entitled or eligible for that. Similarly, if I am owning a credit card of any bank and on a particular date I'm not in a position to defray the installment, I mean the dues of the credit card, I could have gone to the bank and asked for a moratorium in terms of repayment of my amount as well as the interest to be levied thereon, right? So even though I'm not an MSME, but still I'm entitled to that. Same, applying the same thing to your client. If he is not availed, how do you think the bank is going to come forward and offer that moratorium to you unless you don't apply? So MSME has a number of different benefits, but in your case, you should jolly well go and talk to your banker, make an application for deferment of the interest payment. Still you have time, because it is deferred for a further period of 3 months from now.
Okay. Okay. I got your point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Punamji. Now another question is Ajit Tusian ji ka hai. Existing loan is nil. Still benefit can.
अजीत जी को अनम्यूट करिए और उनसे बात करेंगे.
चलिए अजीत सर को अनम्यूट करते हैं. अजीत जी. अजीत जी.
हाँ बोलो.
सर
अजीत जी गुड इवनिंग.
गुड इवनिंग सर. गुड इवनिंग.
अरे 1-on-1 बात करते हैं ना, अपने चैट बॉक्स के थ्रू किया है. बोलिए.
हाँ सर ये जो कोई क्लाइंट है जिसका लोन ही नहीं है, कोई बैंक से लोन नहीं लिया हुआ है,
हाँ.
वो एमएसएमई में बेनिफिट ले सकता है क्या?
सर इन सो फार एज द कोलैटरल फ्री लोन इज कंसर्न, उसमें तो कहीं आप फॉलो ही नहीं कर रहे हैं ना. बाकी जो एमएसएमई के लिए और बहुत सारे जो प्रावधान जो अपने डिस्कशंस किए हैं उसमें लीजिए, क्या दिक्कत है.
ठीक है सर. थैंक यू.
अच्छा, इसमें एक पॉइंट व्यास जी, आई एम जस्ट थ्रोइंग अ कंट्रोवर्सी ओवर हियर फॉर यू. अजीत जी ने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा कि एमएसएमई यूनिट है जो अभी तक लोन नहीं लिया है, या एमएसएमई नहीं भी है मान लीजिए, सो आई एम मेकिंग एन एप्लीकेशन टू द बैंक, आई एम गोइंग इन फॉर अ लोन, लेट्स से 100 लाख का मैंने बोरो किया, अभी मेरा एक्सटेंशन टाइम है टिल 31 अक्टूबर. 2 महीने बाद मैं बैंक में जाके कोलैटरल फ्री लोन ले सकता हूँ क्या?
कोलैटरल फ्री?
हाँ, क्यों मेरे को तो एप्लीकेशन करना है अप टू वो टाइम.
अब 31 अक्टूबर तक मिलेगा बेनिफिट आपको?
नहीं मिलेगा सर.
क्यों?
मेरा व्यू है क्यों, क्योंकि वो बोल रहा है लोन आउटस्टैंडिंग एज ऑन 29 फरवरी है.
नहीं, लेकिन इन्होंने जो लिबरलाइज्ड की है कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट एंड टर्नओवर क्राइटेरिया, वो बाद में की है.
सर वो अलग चीज है. आपका लोन अगर मान लीजिए आपने कुछ नहीं ले रखा है, ये मेरा व्यू है सर, इसीलिए मैंने कहा एक कंट्रोवर्सी करते हैं. सो मेरे व्यू में आपका जो परिभाषा बोल रहा है आउटस्टैंडिंग एज ऑन 29 फरवरी. यस सर.
एग्जिस्टिंग लोन वी कैन अप्लाई अंडर सीजीटी एमएसएमई.
वो ठीक है, वो करो ना, उसमें
वो अलग चीज.
नेक्स्ट इज रवि सुरेखा जी का. इज ट्रेडर्स क्लासिफाई अंडर एमएसएमई एक्ट?
सब अपने डिस्कशंस हो गया
है. एज पर बैंक दिस 3 लाख crore स्कीम ओनली नॉट फॉर न्यू ब्रोवर्स. तो ये भी अपने बात कर ही लिए.
कर लिए.
एक दिन का है सम बैंक्स आर moratorium.
Gopal, I'm not getting your voice clearly, Gopal.
Yeah. Hello, now you are getting?
Yeah, now it is clear.
Yeah. रमाप्रीत जी का है कि some banks are
सुनाई नहीं दिया मेरे को. I'm not able to hear you.
Some banks are moratorium. Hello.
हाँ.
वॉइस नहीं आ रहा तेरा.
अब आ रहा है?
अब आ रहा है.
हाँ. रमाप्रीत जी का है कि some banks are refusing moratorium.
Banks are refusing moratorium.
Yes.
इसके बहुत सारे रास्ते हैं. You can go even up to the ombudsman actually. पहले तो बैंक का जो भी हायर अथॉरिटी है उनको लिखो. If you are falling within that criterion of getting a moratorium, so banks should come forward and cooperate. अब नहीं कर रहे तो you have to escalate it to the next levels actually of whosoever is the sanctioning authority. You can go up to the banking ombudsman as well.
हाँ, वो तो ग्रीवांस में चले जाओ.
ग्रीवांस हो गया. नेक्स्ट.
All the questions are
these. Sir, एक मिनट मैं एक बात और बताता हूँ. These problems are likely to crop up because क्या हो रखा है कि whosoever is the sanctioning authority, ठीक है, in spite of the fact कि it is a government of India की guarantee for extension of that 20% criteria, क्योंकि यहाँ देखिए कैप भी दे दिया 9.25% maximum in case of banks and 14% in case of NBFCs. The finance minister has gone on record to say that please be pragmatic and holistic in extending advances to the borrowers and more particularly to MSMEs, irrespective of the fear of CVC or CBI or ED. As to why this is a far-reaching statement by the Honorable Finance Minister. In other words, they are encouraging the banks to pass on the benefits to the MSMEs or the eligible borrowers so that the business goes on a right trajectory. in spite of that, if you find banks are not cooperating, so then, definitely we should escalate it to a higher level or go in for, grievance settlement. Because we're not asking anything beyond the ambit of law. It is within the four walls or the pronouncements of the FM. Next question, Gopal.
गोपाल 2 क्वेरी लो, उसके बाद अपने क्लोज करें, काफी टाइम
नहीं, क्वेरी हो गया सारा क्लोज।
हाँ
ठीक है,
और है क्या कुछ क्वेरी?
नहीं,
एक मिनट,
ये ममता जी भी है।
विकास जी,
एक सेकंड, व्यास जी, ममता दीदी भी है यहाँ पे, तो हम उनको अनम्यूट कर रहे हैं।
ममता
also want
दीदी
to
आई क्या?
yes, yeah. So I just unmuted.
अरे ममता को तो राज्य है।
उनके राज्य में अपने सर। Yeah.
Thank you so much.
मैंने उनको अनम्यूट किया है। I welcome ममता बिनानी जी। एक सेकंड दीदी, I welcome ममता बिनानी जी, the past president of ICSI. Please जी।
Thank you so much.
स्वागतम।
It's Dr. Mamta Vinani. Yes, Dr. Mamta Vinani.
Thank you, Vikas. It was a wonderful session. I think you actually navigated the entire MSME beautifully. And no better session I've attended for MSME ever, believe you me. I've attended, MSME has now become such a hot potato, or maybe the most expensive fruit that we have on this Mother Earth, that everybody would like to understand कि इसके seeds में कितना बल है. So we are here for taking the best of it.
ममता जी, हम लोगों को विकास की तरफ बढ़ना है, डेवलपमेंट की तरफ, इसीलिए विकास को लेके आए हैं। यथा नाम तथा गुण, क्योंकि हमारे प्रोफेशनल्स फैटर्निटी के लिए भी तो नई एक अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट हो रही है ना।
Thank you, Mamta.
MSME is going to create a big professional opportunities for our youngsters.
Absolutely.
विकास भैया बहुत अच्छा तैयारी था आपका, I must say that.
Thank you, Mamta.
And
let me also
I sincerely thank Vikas ji for taking this topic in a much more interactive manner, providing a lot of inputs. We have been enriched a lot on the various provisions of the MSME Act, and our delegates have been definitely been much more enriched by way of the various queries they have put and the answers we have got from the learned speakers. And in future also, definitely we will having that type of session with Vikas ji on the various financial matters in which he deals. And over to Gopal ji for the vote of thanks.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Vyas ji.
Gopal, you can just mention with the permission of Vyas ji that the ordinance under IBC has just come.
So yes, please.
And for MSME, government का पहले बात चल रहा था कि for MSME they will have something under a separate section 240, but वो अभी कुछ आया नहीं है. So MSME is also not having any separate provisions for IBC at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. So it is still in the proposal stage actually.
अब शायद नहीं आएगा.
देखें.
नहीं तो MSME का जो 1 साल का IBC के अंदर में जो डेफरमेंट आया वो तो रहेगा.
क्या है डेफरमेंट? क्या डेफरमेंट?
IBC के अंदर में है ना कि no more cases will be taken up in the MSME segments for
नहीं
at least for a year.
वो सबके लिए आया है 1 करोड़ से ऊपर के डिफॉल्ट में. और अगर 25 मार्च 2020 के बाद का NPA है या डिफॉल्ट है तो आप अभी 6 महीने तक के लिए उस मैटर को IBC में नहीं लेकर जा सकते. ये आया है और अभी 6 महीना है, बाद में साल भर हो सकता है.
All right, thank you Mamta for that input.
विकास जी का सेशन बहुत ही अच्छा गया. Like we got terrific response from across.
अरे भाई,
अरे WhatsApp आया.
8 के ऊपर में आप डिस्कस कर रहे हैं संजीव, बात आई है.
मैंने जानो तो एक बार. हाँ.
और नंबर 2 आपने टॉपिक ही तो डेवलपमेंट, इसलिए आप विकास जी लेकर आया, बात आई है.
Your blessings, sir, always.
Yeah, we request Gopal to please offer a formal vote of thanks.
Yeah. Hello.
Gopal.
Yeah. Vikas ji, I first want to thanks to you from the core of my heart. The session was very wonderful, and you already got the compliment from the Vyas ji and Mamta ji. तो अब मेरे लिए कुछ ज्यादा रहा नहीं बोलने के लिए.
The pleasure was all
ममता
mine.
दीदी
Thank
ने
you very much.
और व्यास जी
to
ने
all
आपको
the
इतना बड़ा कॉम्प्लीमेंट
participants.
दिया है. बट सेशन वाज रियली वंडरफुल.
Thank
बहुत
you.
कुछ सीखने मिला आज नया, जबकि मैं ज्यादा MSME में कुछ करता नहीं हूँ. बट सर वेरी लर्निंग थिंग्स कि आज हमने सीखा कि MSME में अपने क्या क्या कर सकते हैं. है अभी व्हाट वी कैन डू. सो आई एम एक्सपेक्ट सर कि अपने और भी सेशन हो आपके साथ में, तो आप और गाइड करें हम लोग को ऐसे ही. एंड रियली थैंक्स फॉर दिस वंडरफुल सेशंस.
Thank you very much, all of you and all the participants, for bearing me for almost close to 2 hours now, quarter to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
वेबिनार इतने लंबा चलना बहुत बड़ी बात है. थैंक यू.
थैंक्स टू ममता दीदी टू गिव द
ममता जी का BBD का पर आशीर्वाद है, ये बात समझा दे रहे. छत पे छाया रहता.
आशीर्वाद तो जाओ ही घटे बता है.
And thanks to all the participants who make the program successful, without whom program is not able to successful. Thanks to all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Taking your leave.
Thank you very
Good
much.
night. Bye bye.
Good night, everyone. Bye.
Stay safe.
Okay. Thank you.